Look, I don't care if you're someone who is dirt broke with legit nothing. If you aren't able to have $100,000 to your name in the next 2 to 3 years, you have no one else to blame but yourself. See, when you say the word recession, the first thing that comes to people's minds are job losses, having no money, or not being able to afford stuff. But for smart people, the first thing that comes to our minds is dollar signs, because a recession is really just a golden opportunity to make ungodly amounts of money. We're talking 10xing your net worth, turning 10 grand to 100 grand, 100 grand to a million. And the reason this is easily doable is because this recession that we're in, this one is a little different from what we've seen in previous ones. See, recessions are very difficult time periods for most people because they get hit on two fronts. First is the value of their assets that they own already go down. So their home, stocks, and other investments go down in value. And then on the other hand, they now have job uncertainty and loss of income from their businesses, which makes it a very tough time period. But it's the ones who understand this concept on a deeper level that will really become wealthy. So in this video, I'm going to cover what a recession is and why you should be very happy that we're actually going into one. And I actually went out and talked to a couple of millionaires who've made a lot of money during the last recession, and they gave me a simple 3-step plan that if we were to follow will set us up for life. So I'm going to be sharing that plan with you guys as well. Trust me, it's worth the listen. Also, I just hit 100,000 subscribers, so thank you so very much for all of you guys that watch my videos, that support me, that got me to where I am today. So thank you so very much. And for those of you that are new, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe as well, because I make videos all about money, finance, crypto. So if you guys want to be updated with that stuff, all you have to do is subscribe. Okay, so what is a recession and why should we care? Well, by the book, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, meaning the economy is going down for 2 straight quarters. And while this is the definition by the book, it's not the actual definition. See, we're actually only in a recession when someone tells us we are. And I know it doesn't make sense, but listen to this. There's an organization out there called the National Bureau of Economic Research that determines when the US is in a recession. And only until they say we are we technically in a recession. So I don't know what they're waiting on to announce it, because we clearly are in a recession. Now, if you don't believe me, well, at least believe the largest companies in the world. Companies like Coinbase and Tesla have come public and said they're laying off a number of their employees, but those are just the headlines that we see. Every month, there are more and more layoffs from thousands of companies like Robinhood, Oracle, Ford, Twitter, Netflix, and the list goes on and on. Every company is re-evaluating everything because things just keep getting more and more expensive. Money is becoming more expensive to borrow with increased interest rates. Supply chains are more expensive and all over the place. So if large companies are starting to prepare, I think we should too. Okay, now that you know what a recession is, let me briefly explain why we're even going into one, because this honestly could have easily been prevented, but of course the government wants to do things their own way. So you know how things have just been getting more and more expensive over the past couple years? Well, that's called inflation, the rise of prices of around us. And while this was happening, the government was just sitting around watching these prices go up and didn't do one single thing. All they did was say that it was transitory, that it wasn't permanent. And turns out they were dead wrong, and now they're trying to slam on the brakes when they should have been lightly applying them for the last 2 years. Inflation is the highest it's ever been in 41 years, and only now, recently, have they started taking action on this and putting in some effort. One of the biggest things the Fed started doing was increasing interest rates, which makes it more expensive to borrow money for a home or a car, and in theory, this should reduce consumer spending, bringing down inflation as well. You know what? Let me give you an example, that way you can clearly paint a picture in your head of what's exactly happening. So let's say you run a bike shop and you were selling each bike for $100 last year. Then all of a sudden you have people lining up at your door to buy your bikes, and you have this huge influx of demand because people are given more money because of the stimulus checks. So naturally, because you have more people coming in to buy stuff, you raise your prices, and to your surprise, people are still buying your increased prices. Then you have it going for a couple more months, and then you increase prices even more, and people are still buying with those increased prices. You see where I'm going with this? So in order to bring those prices back down, the Fed raised interest rates, which causes people to start to spend less money, meaning prices will come down as well, and then businesses might go bankrupt because they'll have no demand. Now, increasing those interest rates so it's more expensive to borrow money is all a tactic to slow everything down. It's like putting the economy in quicksand, because sooner or later, people are going to stop spending as much, and you're going to have to reduce the price of your bicycles, because if you kept it at $200, no one's going to buy those prices anymore, and you're going to go out of business. And as every other business starts to lower prices as well, that's when the prices of everything comes down as well. Now, in theory, this all sounds good and we can finally start to afford things again. But But doing this comes at a cost, a huge cost, because the more they increase rates, the harder it'll hurt the economy. It's like a double-edged sword, because the last time they did this was back in 1981, and that did not turn out so good. Okay, so now that you know the severity of everything happening along with the opportunity that you have as well, these are the steps that these millionaires told me to do that if we follow will make us ungodly amounts of money during this recession. Also, real quick, if you guys want to get free stocks, which I don't know who wouldn't, Webull gave me a special link where all you have to do is sign up and deposit 1 penny and you can get up to 12 free stocks, which is valued up to $30,000. So if you want 12 free stocks, which like I said, I don't know who wouldn't, all you have to do is sign up using the link down in the description box below. Okay, so the first thing they said to do is save more money. Now, when I heard this, I was taken back because shouldn't you not want to save money because you're pretty much just going to lose it to inflation? Yes, but the reason they had was a little different. They said the environment is completely different now because in the next couple of years, we're going to see the prices of a lot of assets fall dramatically if they haven't already. I mean, take a look at crypto. The markets are down 80% from its all-time high, and drops like those are perfectly normal in a recession. When these prices come down, remember when, not if, we need to have the cash and funds ready to deploy. We're already starting to see the prices of a lot of assets start to fall, and although real estate prices are still pretty high right now, in the next couple of years, they, and along with a lot of other investors, see the prices of that coming down a lot as well. And having the money when this happens will put you on top because getting loans and borrowing money during a recession is pretty much a dead end. So if you were to have your own money, you will have more leverage. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with savings, so instead of just putting some extra money aside, what you can do is look at your expenses that you already have and try to reduce those. Now, you can cancel some stuff that you don't use anymore. You can start to be more conscious of what you're buying and maybe not buying every single thing that you see. And if you really want to nail it down, what you can do is turn your expenses into assets. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, if you have an extra car or you don't use your car a lot, you can rent that out on Turo and that'll cover your car payments and maybe it'll give you some extra money every month. Or if you live in a home and you have an extra room, you can rent out that extra room. That way, that rent payment will cover your mortgage and maybe it'll give you some extra money on top, but at least it'll let you live for free. So you're saving money and making money at the same time, which leads me to the second option they told me, which is to increase how much money you make. Now, I assume by now a lot of you guys already know that you can start a business or side hustle, which will always be the #1 option to make more money. But for those of you that have a job and it's hard to go out and start these things, how can you increase your earnings? Well, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, do you see yourself working at this company in the future? If not, then you're going to have to leave because in order to make more money, you need to provide more value. And if you're doing that at a place that doesn't respect you and value you back, there's no point giving it to them. And America is known for providing the most bare minimum effort when it comes to jobs. So if you can go the extra mile and add value to your employer, and I promise you, as someone who has people helping me, it goes a really, really long way. Now, if that doesn't work, you can also job hop, meaning you can take your skills and go to another company, which is actually very beneficial because a lot of people are leaving jobs every 2 to 3 years and getting sizable pay increase. So that's an option as well if you guys want to make more money. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, starting your own business or side hustle will always give you better odds of making more money. And a recession is probably one of the best time periods to start one because it's easier to hire talent. It's easier to negotiate with suppliers and bad businesses end up going bankrupt. So that means less competition for you. Now, if you want to start a side hustle or want to know more ways of making more money, I actually have a free newsletter where I send out daily unique side hustles that you guys can start. I go through step by step of how you can start it and how much you can make with it as well. So if you guys want to be part of that free newsletter, all you have to do is sign up clicking the link down in the description box below. Okay, now that you started to save some extra money and you start to make some extra money as well, here comes the most crucial part. And this is what they said a lot of people don't end up doing, and that's investing. Because the first 2 steps of saving money and making more money, yes, they'll take you far, but a lot of people can do that. You're not separating yourself from the crowd. But if you really want to be at the top and separate yourself from everyone else, you have to start investing because that's the only way you can get there. The best thing they said to do was to keep it simple and just dollar cost average, or called DCA, meaning just buying little bits of an asset over time instead of putting all your money all at once. And in my opinion, stocks, crypto, and real estate are probably the best ways to get into the market right now. And I'd honestly first start with stocks if you guys are, because that's the easiest way to get into it. It doesn't require a lot of capital and you can actually buy fractional shares and you can also dollar cost average in. So you're able to catch reach those low points. And in the long term, DCA is a lot better because if you put all your money in at one price and it goes down, you're pretty much screwed. But if you buy little bits over time, that'll minimize your overall risk. If you guys want the 12 free stocks valued up to $30,000, like I said, the link is down below. Now, something a little more intricate to invest in is real estate. It requires a lot more learning and there's a big learning curve, but it's actually one of the best things to invest in during a recession because you can find some amazing deals because people will start to really feel the hardships of a recession. And a perfect example of this would be people start to lose their jobs and they need income fast. So what they'll do is sell their homes at a discount. That's where you can come in and buy at a really good deal. And there also won't be as much competition out there because no one was preparing during the times that we're in right now. But these were the 3 steps that they gave me, and they're honestly not easy to do, but they are very simple. Everyone wants to know what the new best thing is, but a lot of times simple will take you just as far. The biggest takeaway I would say is don't be afraid to take action. It will only benefit you in the long run. And if you stay consistent and DCA in and just hold, I guarantee you'll be amazed at the wealth you can create in just a few short years. And remember, times like these don't come around all the time. Heck, we had to wait 13 years for this one to come. So don't let it slip underneath your fingers. But that was it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.